I just finished Eni's Lobby in One Piece, and I wanted to record some of my thoughts on it, and thoughts on One Piece as a whole, and on Oda as a mangaka. For those of you who don't watch or read One Piece, the ship called the Going Merry, which Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates have been riding around with since they got Usopp as one of their crew members. That ship has gone through East Blue, has entered the Grand Line, has gone up into Skypiea, and it's just gone through so much wear and tear that even with all the repairs that Usopp was trying to do, they just couldn't maintain the ship anymore. So they bring it to Water 7, which has the best shipwrights in the world, and it's revealed that there's literally nothing they could do to fix the ship. So basically that Water 7 is like the last leg that the Going Merry is going to go on. And there's the main plot is going on, and they get sent all the way to Eni's Lobby at this another city. They have all these big fights and everything. And as the Straw Hat Pirates are cornered, the Going Merry comes by itself. It turns out that the Going Merry, like for pirate ships that have like a really nice crew that the ship can resonate with, like if a ship really loves its crew, it'll like manifest itself like a ghost kind of. And you see that in the Skypiea arc previously, the ship Going Merry manifested itself to help and repair the ship while the crew was sleeping. And you see the ship willed itself to go out into sea, even though that it couldn't stay together any longer, just to save them one last time. And as soon as they got out to safety, the ship just collapses on itself, and the ship is speaking to them and it's telling them that they wish they can travel forever with them, but this is as far as they could take them. They're how thankful they are for the trip that they had with Luffy and everyone. And it was like a really emotional moment in the show, especially when you remember that we're talking about a ship. And I think things like that are why I think a lot of people really rock with One Piece. And I think that the whole Going Merry arc kind of just like sums up what, in my opinion, what makes One Piece so great. They will introduce a character, just some random dude, and they'll give him a backstory, and they will give him a flashback, and he'll have his own little mini character arc that's intertwined with the main story. And even though they may go on to like another city or whatever, before they leave, they will tie up that little character's little arc, and sometimes they will come back further along, and they do that with everybody and everything, literally. Like in the Foxy Pirate arc right before Water 7, they literally give a horse a backstory. I don't know if y'all remember that horse back there who was like separated from its crew for like 40 years or whatever, and the horse was just waiting for them. It's crazy. A horse a backstory. Giving a horse a flashback with some emotional music playing. And so there are people who are like turned off by that, but I kind of like clicked for me that Oda is like a super like sensitive, sentimental person. Like just from the way he writes, I assume that when he was a kid, he was probably one of those kids who would break a toy and wouldn't throw it away. Or he's the type of person that if you write him a card, like a birthday card, or you give him a little present, to me, he seemed like the kind of person who would just keep that forever. Or even if it's just a dumb little trinket, like a little keychain, he seems like that kind of person. And I think other people who are like that also resonate with the show. You know, I'm a sentimental person. I think about when I was a kid and I used to play with toy soldiers with my little brother, and we would make sure that all of our favorite soldiers would all have their little moment where they would pick off another one, or have their own cool moment where they would sneak behind enemy lines. Or even when I used to play Pokemon when I was younger, I would always try to make sure that every Pokemon had on my squad. Of course, my main Pokemon, my Blaziken, would always be the highest level, but I always tried to make sure that everybody else had their shine. And I think Oda tries to do the same thing with all of his characters. I think because he spent time into making their character design, gave them an outfit, gave them a name, had a little voice in his head when they were writing of what that character would sound like, gave them a power, not even a power. There was even, towards the end of Eni's Lobby, they had a big party at the end, and even the two trains guards, whoever the two dudes who were working the train, even I completely forgot, I don't even know if they had names. He literally made sure that even they came back and was running down the streets trying to make it to the party. Like even the most inconsequential characters. Even people like, not people, even those big horse dudes, Stardom and Gamora, they even had to show their resolve, and he showed how much of a fighter they were. All of the Galilala company, you saw all these individual dudes fighting. Frankie's little brothers, all of them fighting. All of them had a little moment to shine. The Giants, man, it's just, it just shows how much he cares so deeply for the world he's created, and that he can't even make a character, he can't just give some random character a name and just leave them alone. Like, he has to, like, he really cares about them that much that he wants to let everybody have their little moment in the spotlight. And although I'm only a third of the way through, I see why the manga is the best selling in Japan, just because I don't think a lot of these mangakas out there, which is not a bad thing, by the way. Obviously, my favorite anime is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and they won't even show you JoJo's mom's name. So I don't think it's important for it to be a good show, but it makes it very hard for me to argue when people say One Piece is the GOAT. If you can make me, a 24-year-old man, crying over a pirate ship that's sinking down into the ocean, then you truly, really are an incredible storyteller.
僕は本当に幸せだった。君たちがいたから。